Everybody, welcome back to Thrasher's Ghetto Fab, and today we're going to work on the wagon. I love this car. I drive it a ton. I got about 5,000 miles on it. One of the issues this year so far is because it's lowered, I got about 1.5 inches of clearance and it bottoms out. So when I first bought the car, all I did was just cut the coils and de-arch the back springs, which I got where I wanted to be. But the issue is it's fine 95% of the time, but you get that one bump, especially on a freeway, and it'll hit so hard because instead it bottoms out that it just shakes the car. So the issue is, if anybody's dealing with these old Fords, no one makes an affordable drop spindle that I can find. And the only one I could find for Mustang, which is the same, I think it was like $2,200. Or there's your ride tech options, or $5,000 for full front suspensions, things like that. So my plan is to take an old set of spindles that I bought off of a guy I met on Marketplace. Has a bunch of Fairlane stuff, mostly 68 and 69 stuff, but went out to his place. He bought a junk set of drum spindles because I've already converted mine to disc brakes. I'm going to go ahead and cut those up, make my own drop spindles, and yeah, just make this thing handle a lot better. That's the goals. Then the goal for this winter is to doing the front and rear suspension. I'm going to do a 4-link also on the rear. We'll get that up on the channel. Just want to make this car the ultimate daily driver, road tripper. So part of that is going to be just fixing the suspension, making it a little bit better. So let me get started with the project here today. We're going to get these spindles broke down. All right, so here's the spindles here. Got them all stripped down. You saw there was another set of drum brakes I absolutely do not need. I got another set laying here. So here's the spindles here, cleaned up. The plan is here, not even cleaned up, just taken apart. But the plan is here is I'm going to cut out like 2 inches here. You can see I got this threaded rod. I'm going to use that to kind of line everything back up, keep it like it was. But cut 2 inches out here, weld it back together, build some kind of support or sleeve. I'm sure it would be fine, strong enough to just weld it back together, but I just want to, for safety on this thing, that's, this is obviously something fails in your suspension, it's going to be catastrophic. So we'll make sure that's super, super strong. The bottom's a little bit more tricky here. I had a couple ideas I was going to do. One was going to be to take the ball joint off the control arm and build, a pocket to push that up higher. I think I would rather work in the spindle here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut here, cut this off, weld a plate here, bring the bottom ball joint mount down here, and then from there I'll take it, I will gusset everything and bring it back into spec, to make everything tight again. The other thing that you're probably thinking too is, what am I going to do about steering arm? I'm going to leave the steering arm in the same spot. I do not have any major bump steer issues where it is right now. It will line right back up where it was now, even though everything else is dropped. If I decide to do anything different, maybe I'll do a Heim joint or something on here and a spacer or something to get this lower to maybe correct that. But I don't seem to have any bump steer issues right now, so I'm going to keep it like it is, and maybe we'll worry about that another time. But right now we're just going to get these spindles made. I just want to stop here and show you guys kind of the progress of what we got going on here. The jig was off a little bit. I ended up having to cut this off. I was off. I had some inclination in the, where the kingpin was the wrong word, but it had inclination that was throw off. It was too far off that I liked, we could, adjust out the front end. So I did have to cut this bag off and straighten it back up. But I found these little bushings here, and they get a lot tighter in there to kind of get everything lined up. And it's within spec. I think I could get a little better, but I'm pretty happy with that. This is what I came up with here. I was thinking about putting another, this is hot as hell, I just welded it, but I was thinking about putting another, gusset in here, but I think that thing is really, really strong. I got like 2 or 3 passes on here just to really, really lay it in here, burn it in. One thing I didn't want to do, I didn't want to just rely on that weld. So I'm going to put this gusset in here and weld all that around. That way it's sitting, some of the pressure is sitting on here. Now on the Ford, the spring is on the top A-arm. I don't really know how much up and down pressure is here. I'm sure it's more for cornering or whatever the case may be, but I'm just going to, like I said, I'm going to overkill this. So I'm just going to burn that in there, but I think that's going to really, really be strong and be really, really good. So like I said, I've been really throwing the heat to this thing, man. My old 175 TIG is getting the workout today, but it's welding in real nice, and I think it's going to be super, super strong. And as far as up here, I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to plate it here. Plate it right there. Same thing. Grind it in real nice. Give it a nice bevel in there. You saw it was beveled in real nice, and then weld it all the way around there. Make another pass here, and I think that's going to be super, super strong. So that's it. I'll get these welded up, and probably just finish up with this one for the day here. I say maybe I'll do a little comparison at the moment, and you can see 2-inch drop spindle. All right, guys. I know I said earlier in the video that I wasn't going to do anything with the tie rod end, or excuse me, with the steering arm here. Didn't really want to get into cutting that. I want to make sure everything's safe, but doing some thinking about it. And if I move the relationship of the spindle up, now where the control arm's now attached, it's going to completely mess up the geometry. I'm sure I made crazy bumps there that I didn't think about. So I kept thinking about maybe doing some kind of spacer or something on the tie rod. I think it's not going to give me enough. So I've come up with a plan here. So I made a jig here to attach this to the lower control arm mount here and to the tie rod here. So this will keep this relationship what it needs to be. Then what I can do, I'm going to Z-cut this. If you can see in here, I'm going to cut here, here, and here, allowing me to get a nice, really, really long weld. I'll bevel everything in like it's really nice, and then be able to section this and move this where I need to do to keep these relationships the same. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cut, and then I will be able to move this down, tack it. If I got to heat it, I'll heat it up, get everything lined up like it needs to be, and then hopefully we'll be good and strong, and these things should be a true 2-inch drop spindle, keeping all the geometry correct and making the car steer and handle like it's new, but it's lowered. So I'll get started here and get this cut. All right, well, so you got that cut there in the last video. It was a huge pain in the ass. I was off just a little bit right there, but I got through it and just whatever. But anyway, so you can see now how far this is off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat this up here and heat this up here and try to get these lined up as close as I possibly can. So that's, you can just see how crazy it is, how it drops down. It completely changes the whole geometry of everything. So hopefully I get these back together and get these welded up nice and strong. But you can see how I get that Z cut. That should really, I should lay that in there. I'm gonna put a couple holes in there and weld those in, you know, spot welds and all the things, just to make sure this is like overkill is my plan. All right, so I got everything fitted here. You can see these filler pieces I made, and you can see the wide, really, really wide gaps I left in here. And I think that's just, I want to completely weld this as much as I possibly can to make this as close to one piece as it is. So you just have this little bit down the center where it's not, you know, one piece of steel again. So, but you'll see I'll lay that in there. But I got that piece done. I got the other filler on this side done. It's still hot as hell, but it's back there. And same thing, the wide gaps there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this welded up off camera, and then I'll start making my gusset here and finish through all the welding here. But I think I'll probably just do that off camera, and then I'll show the finished product when it's all said and done. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. Let me show you the spindles done here. You see I added the gusset in there, everything's welded. I think they come out great. So I'm gonna just call this one done. All right, guys, that's it for the spindles on the wagon. For now, we're gonna get these on this winter. So I just wanna say thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time at Thrasher's Ghetto Fab. All right, guys, I said we were gonna wrap that up because it was last fall when we made that video, the wrap up video, but it's actually next spring. I did get everything done this winter, all the suspension. Did want to show kind of how it changed everything with the drop spindles. You can see in there, you can see I had about 1.5 inches of clearance before. These are the Viking coilovers that I put on the car. Does not bottom out anymore whatsoever. The car really, really made a huge difference. The other thing that we really, I knew it would make a difference, didn't realize how much, was the tire. Now that the relationship is correct, the geometry is correct, I have a ton of clearance here on the tire and the inside the fender here. This would rub every now and then, not a ton, but it would catch here on some weird stuff. Never catches now. It's just the geometry is so much better. So definitely made the car a lot better, and just more drivable. So that's it.